Welcome back to Brick by Brick. Today we're going to be doing a hypothetical matchup, in this case between two candidates, Gavin Newsom on the Democratic side. He's the current governor of California, and then on the Republican side we'll be going with J.D. Vance, the current vice president of the United States. So we have all of these states laid out. We'll just be going through the swing states. Recently, Newsom said that following the midterms, he would most likely would launch a presidential bid. This isn't too crazy. This was kind of has been predicted for a while. I've done some predictions already quite a few between these two candidates. So it is one of the more likely situations, given if it were to be held today. There's still a lot of time, things might change, but for now we'll be going with those two candidates. I will start out with the Sun Belt and then go up to the Rust Belt. So most of these states, virtually every state is pretty much locked in position, whether that be red or blue. There aren't too many states that are actually swing states, but we're going to be going through the few ones that really will determine the electorate here. So I do think that in Nevada and Arizona, we've seen the Hispanic population kind of sour on Trump. He did pretty well with the Latino population in 2024, Trump did, and of course, J.D. Vance is not Trump, but I do think that Trump would probably have some more populist appeal than Vance would have. I just don't see him doing as well, and I think that, unless things change, which it's very possible it could, that it would result in a Democratic victory in the state of Nevada. Arizona I've fairly consistently called for the Republican, in this case J.D. Vance, but I do think I will still go with that designation. I think previously I had it as a lean. For now I'm going to go with tilt. So that brings us to 231 to 230, pretty much tied, although I do think Gavin Newsom is going to be able to pick up another electoral college vote. I do think in the district, the district here in Nebraska, it's going to be tilt blue. There we go. And that results in 232 to 230. And then we're going to go to the other half of the Sun Belt. I do think that Georgia and North Carolina are probably going to be two different characterizations. I think that Vance could certainly win Georgia. I do think that Newsom, he's got a shot. It'll be interesting to see what happens, but if I were to call it today, just with Trump's approval rating and, Democrats are certainly unpopular too. There's kind of a joke that, Americans are usually sick of whoever the president's party is at the moment and will kind of revert to the other party during the midterms. So it'll be interesting to see. This obviously won't be a midterm. This will be in 2028. So it'll be interesting to see what happens here. But really, it ultimately is up to the Rust Belt. I do think that in the Rust Belt, I think that Newsom has got a pretty good shot at winning Wisconsin. If I remember correctly, Wisconsin was the closest state that almost went to Harris. In 2016, that was Michigan, the state that was the closest to going to, in that case, Hillary Clinton. But I'm going to go with that. And then I do think in Pennsylvania, I do think in the long run, the Rust Belt is going to get more and more red, and the Sun Belt is going to get more and more blue. But for now, that is 258 to 265, and it ultimately comes up to the state of Michigan. I've gone back and forth on this state, but I do think I've just been looking at some of the polls. It'll be interesting to see what happens, but I do think if I were to call it, it would probably be a Republican victory. I think that just the Rust Belt is going to get progressively more Republican, and generally it votes together. So there's really any of these tilt states could very easily go the other way. That's just the nature of it. There's not too many voters, but those rare few really make the difference in determining how these swing states go. Feel free to let me know if you have any questions. Don't forget to like and subscribe. Thanks. Bye.